went into a TV desert.
Yeah.
Not great. All the shows I watch have all simultaneously reached a point where they are not good. And I have to push on. And there's just not it's going to be a while before we see water.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Case in point, I'm watching Community.
Yes.
Rewatching Community.
Yes.
Hit the 4th season. And I just
not
don't
started
even
the
want to
4th
go
season.
forward.
No.
Yeah, not great. I'm on the 7th season of Voyager.
Yep.
Which is, I don't know. I mean, the last one I saw was actually really good, but it's generally not, kind of a slide down to the end, I think. Show's kind of running down.
Yeah.
What else is going on? There's a show called The Last Kingdom that I really enjoy. And, it's still good. I think it's still high quality, but I feel like they're just kind of doing the same stories over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Somebody, a longtime cast member gets killed. Then Uhtred feels bad about that. Then he's got to bounce around for, a couple episodes the entire season until he finally achieves whatever his goal is.
Yeah.
And, there's something open-ended probably for the next season after that.
Yeah.
And we're all good.
There's some reoccurring bad guys who may have been in from previous season, but then there's usually new bad guys who you've never even heard of.
Yep.
Or
but they're a big deal.
Before, but they're a big deal. You just never heard of them.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at. And
I wonder if the books are like that.
The books are a lot different, just out of necessity.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
And just changing things, and also, the history itself was a lot different.
Yeah.
But I know that. Remember when they were in the swamp?
When were they in the swamp?
It's like the first season.
Oh.
They were trying to kill Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And his Edward was born there.
Oh, that's right. Man, that was so long ago.
And there was a little girl.
Yeah.
Named Ethelfled.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. That's really weird.
The show goes on, and years will go by in between seasons, but they don't really bother to.
They don't age them makeup-wise
age anybody,
or anything.
no.
Uhtred looks exactly the same.
Yeah, and Alfred's wife, has an adult daughter, but she just basically looks like, a woman in her mid to late 20s.
I know,
they're
right?
just not doing anything.
No.
That clean living.
Yeah, right. All that wine.
Yeah. Oh, the fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah. Another show we haven't been watching a whole lot for a while, actually, but there's more of it, is Outlander. We got to a part in Outlander, and we just kind of haven't gone back to it.
Well, for me,
maybe we should go back to it.
I suppose. For me, it was them trying to square the circle of, so now they're in like pre-revolutionary America, right?
Right.
And and I'm sure that the lady that wrote them,
yes.
Diana
Gabaldon
or whatever,
I don't know how to say her name.
Is she picked that time period, specifically because I think there's a lot going on. Like obviously,
yes.
The early stories center around the Jacobin Rebellion.
Yes.
And she wanted it to be, in Scotland and stuff like that. So that's kind of a good thing there. But then it's also, it's pre-American Revolution. They keep running in. There's a lot of intrigues going on, in like the French court.
Yeah.
And so they're able to sort of like, and I mean, I'm sure you could look at any period in history and find interesting things, but it's all these things that they can, plausibly sail to and from, and I'll be in the same area, unless they go to China or something like that.
Ooh, upcoming season, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, or Cathay or whatever they would call it.
The season we just finished watching, they went to, was it like I want to say Barbados or something like that. It was something like tropical. And
yeah, it might have been something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember where it is exactly. And then like they were supposedly trying to sail back to Scotland, and they got shipwrecked on America.
And we had a thing in that season, like when they were in the Barbados, where they like, oops, we bought a slave. They had that like plot line.
Yep.
And immediately they're like, what? You're free. Just go.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, that's not how this works. Like, go where? If I just walk around, somebody's going to like throw a collar around my neck and I'm just a slave again. So they had to kind of figure that out. And it's just like, all right. And I was like, okay, is that it? Is that all the white guilt that we'll have to get through?
No.
No, because the season right after, like immediately they try to decide, let's just end slavery like in this state or whatever. And then everybody's like, no.
He has like this wealthy aunt, and she has this, she owns all this land, and I think it's basically like it's a plantation in the South,
it's a plantation
in America. And she, of course, owns slaves, and she doesn't have an heir at all, and she decides she's going to give it all to Jamie.
Right. And
Claire and Jamie are like, Claire's like, we cannot have slaves. We cannot do this. This is not a thing,
Well, Jamie's not excited about it, but yeah.
No. So, yeah, them kind of trying to struggle with that.
Considering what we're talking about today, I guess I'm glad that Outlander is willing to be honest in its depiction, because it isn't like his aunt was mean to the slaves or anything like that. Like, I think a lot of the slaves, as far as slaves go, had it pretty good. But, of course, Claire has a 20th century mindset, and Jamie's kind of got that because of her. Right. And so this will not stand. And they immediately try to fight against it, and it causes a huge problem. And I kind of got the idea that they were kind of setting it up for, they're going to stop. They're not going to be messing about with slavery anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're going to see it, and they're just going to go, it's history. There's just nothing we can do.
Right.
Maybe. Because maybe we'll go back and we'll do it again and again and again and again. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, white guilt isn't valid and we shouldn't explore these things, but I stopped because I was like, it's getting kind of heavy. But at least it's an honest portrayal. It isn't Gone with the Wind where, everybody's just, they're happy. Yeah, right.
Mammy's got a red petticoat. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Red's like, have a drink with me.
Yeah, right.
That happens. So anyway, well, it's good that we got started with that. It just instantly it was just me talking about having to watch bad TV for a while, and it instantly became racial, like many things do. And that's what we're talking about today on the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Yukon Hana.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk a little news like we usually do, but we are going to talk about what's going on right now in entertainment and Hollywood as a knock-on effect of people protesting against police murder and brutality.
Right.
We're starting to look differently at a lot of things that we kind of passed by before. This is America going full Claire and Jamie. And
yes.
But unlike Claire and Jamie, who were two people against an entire mercantile system and 13 colonies, this is society. Like we are a society.
Yeah.
So I think we can hopefully fix this. But they're pulling down statues. They're pulling down depictions and art of racist individuals.
Yes.
They want to rename John Wayne Airport because that guy was just like an insane racist. People don't really know that about him.
No, I was not aware of that till you told me the other day.
Yeah.
And,
so anyway.
Yeah.
And then one thing that's happening is, what's happening is depictions of blackface are being scrubbed from streaming services. And I think it is particularly a 21st century phenomenon because we have these streaming services. If you had the DVD of the Whoopi Goldberg roast, or something like that, or like old show DVDs, we'd all go tisk tisk, but there's nothing we can really do about it. But because these things are live, they're constantly existing still in this streaming space, and they're hosted by companies who just don't need the hassle. What's happening is they're pulling these things down.
Yeah.
And that we're going to talk about that today. And and the thorny issue of, erasure. Right. Speaking of monuments, we could just shake our heads and people are like, they're erasing our history. But I got to tell you, my knee-jerk reaction to hearing say, I don't know, my favorite episode of Community being pulled was they're erasing our cultural history.
Yeah.
And so we don't have any answers. We're not even going to come up with any statements. But we are going to talk about this issue.
Yes.
And in order to make that really pop, we decided to watch a piece of media.
Is that why we did?
That is chiefly concerned with the idea of blackface. It is the universally reviled 1986 film Soul Man.
Yes.
Can you believe we watched Soul Man for this show?
I cannot.
Could you believe half the things you saw in Soul Man?
I could not.
I remember that
like, this movie came out in, like, what, 85 or something like that? Like, when it came out, I was way too young. Don't remember even hearing about it, you know, of course. And I did not know that it existed until, I think, actually not that long ago when you told me about it and showed me the trailer, and I was horrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrified.
Yeah.
1985, you know? Yeah. So I mean, we'll get into it later, but it's just I don't know. This exists, and for some reason we have kind of decided collectively as a society that it doesn't. But it does.
Well, okay, but that's now you're doing commentary. We'll get there. But
anyway.
I just I'm trying to remember because, you know, I was alive and sentient then. I'm trying to remember what I thought about it. I obviously didn't see it because I don't think I was seeing movies at that point.
Right.
But I'm trying to remember my thoughts about it, and I guess I didn't think about it much. Mm-hmm. I remember that thinking, because I saw the trailer, so I remember thinking he looked weird, and there's a line in the movie that's in the trailer that's like, this is the Cosby decade or whatever, and people love Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. And like I wasn't shocked and horrified because I guess I didn't really understand like what blackface was.
Sure.
But I remember thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Because like everybody, I watched Cosby every Thursday, you know, like everybody
I
watched
Cosby.
The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was just like, oh, this is another form of entertainment. This is kind of weird. This guy's, I guess he's got to dress up like he's a black person or something.
Right.
And so I didn't really think about it. And then I, got older and realized what was really going on.
Right.
And I didn't plan to ever watch it, but here we are. I remember saying to you that we were going to do this, and we put it off. We put it off a while because we did not want to do this.
No.
And, and then you came to me like over the weekend and were like, so when are we watching Soul Man? Which is like one of the worst questions. There's like a list of questions that you just don't want to hear.
No.
Like, will you ever walk again?
Right.
Or did any of the children survive?
Right. No.
Is Diet Pepsi okay? Like these questions you just do not want to hear. They are harbingers of tragedy.
Yes.
May I see your papers, please?
Right, right.
And when are we watching Soul Man? Add that to the list.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that. Mm-hmm. Other than that, how's it going?
It's going
Doing
okay.
any racisms recently? I feel like in my daily life, it's pretty easy to not do a racism.
I like the...
Although we'll have to talk about my junior high theater experiences
later. It's kind of funny to me that you say it that way. Do a racism, like do something racist is how I guess I think of it. But not that I'm aware of, and I'm trying to
drink water and talk at the same time.
Yeah, I got a tickle in my throat, which is a problem when you have to talk into the mic. But I'm not a racist person. I think of myself as pretty anti-racist, but I'm learning, that there's still
you're pretty anti. You're on the fence before.
No, I'm anti-racist, but over. Okay, geez. But I'm also learning just like how incredibly pervasive systemic racism is in our society, and how much I'm not aware of, and that I need to learn more and be more aware, and be more present and be more vocal when I witness or experience things that are not okay, that are, for example, racist, and I think that's part of it, right? Is trying to be a better person and to be more aware. And
I'm learning how many shows have blackface on them.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
It is.
And we'll talk about it later, but
yeah.
Every time they announce that something was taken down, you're like, they did blackface? What?
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. And a lot of them are shows that I have seen, and I don't know what it says about me or our experience with blackface, but for whatever reason, I don't remember it.
Well, you remember
you know what
Soul
I mean?
Man.
Yeah.
For the rest of your
nightmares. That is
for the rest
true.
of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, well, all right, we can't put it off. The show can't be 8 hours long. We got to get to it eventually.
Okay.
But to get there, we got to go through the news. Well, a big story coming out of, Earth right now is that Reddit has finally taken a hard line, and they have banned R the Donald and other hate and violent related subreddits on Reddit.
Thank goodness. Like, how long did it take for them to do this?
Well,
you know what I mean? It's
long time, and it's a reversal of policy because in the past when they've been challenged, they've basically clung to
free speech.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. But this is it. So it's it's a lot of it's political stuff. It's a lot of conservative stuff. There's also like watch people die or something like that. These sort of like weird, morbid.
We don't need that
subreddits.
No.
And then they banned Chapo Trap House.
Why did?
Who's, as far as I know, they don't threaten to kill people.
Okay, remind me what they do again. I don't remember.
They are a liberal podcast that has a leftist podcast. Okay. Whoa! I almost got threatened with death. They're gonna hit me with a hammer and a sickle. And they, this is just the Reddit for the podcast, but I don't know why it was banned, other than just
because it's political.
For Reddit trying to look impartial. You ban the Donald, you got to ban Chapo Trap House.
That seems weird because if you're subreddit,
Pod Save America,
yeah,
still going strong, probably.
Well, if you have hate speech in your subreddit, then you're on.
Well, the mods should take care of it.
Well, yes.
But the problem with a lot of these communities is
they're not moderated.
Well, first of all, more than half of them aren't even active. Like there's 10 subscribers, and it's but yeah, the mods in this case are the first people that get contacted, and the mods have been uncooperative on a lot of these,
right?
Or just unable to control it. So so that's that.
Yeah.
Looks like I don't know. It's for the best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like what'd Chapo do? Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
YouTube is also getting in on it. They have banned Stephen Molyneux, David Duke, Richard Spencer, a lot of these right-wing video makers as well.
Well, good. I
and
have not heard
ContraPoints.
That. And who?
ContraPoints.
Who? What?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not true. I haven't heard about any big leftist YouTubers who have gotten knocked down. But that would be,
to spread
the David Duke, Richard Spencer, Dennis Prager, and H. Bomber Guy. It's like, wait, what? What did he do?
Right.
So yeah, it looks like platforms are getting serious.
Good.
One person that they haven't taken down individually yet is J.K. Rowling, who continues her J.K.'s march to the North Sea over gooey turfiness. And
wow, yeah.
Got it?
Continue. I think I know what you're going to say, but yeah, go ahead with the story.
Well, anyway, she praised Stephen King recently.
Yes.
For I don't know what she praised him for. She praised him for something he said about.
She was having some. So I read an article about it. She was having some. Because of what she posted, her long scree about being more or less transphobic. I'll boil it down for you in layman's terms and shorten it.
I'll do it because it's not going to be short.
Oh, okay.
she posts all these dumb facts that are unsubstantiated about, women being abused by trans women or whatever. And she tweeted an Andrea Dworkin quote.
That's what it was.
And Stephen King was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good quote." Retweeted it, and she's like, "You're so great." And he's like, "Yeah, I like trans women though. Like, I support them." And then she deleted her tweet.
Yeah, because I guess fans were like, "Wait, do you agree with J.K. Rowling? How do you feel about trans people?" And he said, "Trans women are women." And then she deleted her thing. And it's like, wow, really, J.K. And I guess some fans were speculating that she also, how would you know this? That she also unfollowed him. I don't know if that's true or not, but
who cares?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
it's
wow.
It's it's crazy.
It's like not only is she transphobic, she's like, if you are supporting of trans women, then I'm not supporting you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
screw it.
Yeah, I know.
YouTube is another platform where apparently this is just going to be the whole show. Everybody, strap in. Blackface is also a problem still. Very famous, popular YouTuber Shane Dawson, who I don't know. I don't know. I go to a very specific, speaking of H-Bomber guy and ContraPoints, I go to a very specific place on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But these are the people, if you hit that thing like what's trending.
Sure, yeah.
Suddenly YouTube becomes a completely unrecognizable platform to me. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of stuff, people I don't recognize, doing stuff that I would never spend a second watching.
Right.
But anyway, Shane Dawson, who is just asking, is he gay? Is he?
I don't know who he is. I have no idea who he is.
Well, anyway, I think that he is gay and somewhat liberal. If he's not gay, I apologize. And if he's not liberal, he should be. But yeah, apparently he had to apologize for doing blackface and saying the N-word in racist videos. Now, these videos were years and years ago, but I don't know, man. First of all, why are you doing them?
Why did you do it?
Second of all, you have control of your platform. Just delete them.
Delete it.
And then this is just like skeezy business advice. Lie, or just don't say anything. I guess it's good that he came forward, but why does there need to be blackface in your channel in the first place? And then there's somebody else that's like Jenna Marbles, or I don't know, another one of these like YouTube people who's been on the platform for like 10 years, has millions of followers. She did blackface too.
Which is she?
How does this even come out?
What are their videos even like?
I don't know. A lot of these are just them.
Are they just
vlogging.
talking?
Yeah.
Or I don't get it. I don't get it.
How do you get to a point where you're like,
I don't know.
Yeah, let's just blackface.
I don't know. I know there have been a couple articles. I don't remember specifics, but there have been a number of influencers on Instagram who've gotten in trouble for doing tutorials
racism tutorials.
Well,
step one,
they've done makeup that has darkened their skin significantly.
You just can't
and it's like.
Let
Why?
Zoe Saldana off.
No, it's not Zoe Saldana. They're white influencers who darken their skin.
Maybe that's
black.
the blackface that we're talking about.
I don't know.
Again, I can't wait to
do
my own thing about junior high coming up. Be ready to cancel me.
Oh, stop it.
What else is happening? Looks like we're cracking down on sexual misconduct again, and again, like it's a trend. I think it's great that we're doing it.
Right.
But you're hearing a couple big stories recently. Actor Cass Anvar, who is a star on The Expanse, was accused of sexual predation and battery.
Grooming.
Last week. And so that is kind of at the forefront of this.
Right now. Plays Alex on The Expanse.
Yeah.
Really, really disappointing, man. I mean, always upsetting whenever you hear about it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Not like there's any exceptions to that, but really that character, his portrayal of him. So yeah, I don't know. I know that. I know that the
Bring it home.
creators are looking into that and doing some sort of an investigation.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of that.
The allegations.
Yeah. There's Gosh, I'm just trying to organize all this. There's just so much happened last week. It's crazy.
I know. Well,
I guess what I should probably just get right to is, so we're still talking about sexual misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
There's this big announcement that Michael Keaton will be returning to the role of Batman for the Flash film.
Right.
Which is What you okay, Warner Brothers? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I don't know.
This movie has been through so much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and they finally, I think they still don't have a director, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
The point is, Ezra Miller, he's not 100% for it because there's that video of him choking a lady that he's never addressed. And so we've got a Batman, but we might not have a Flash.
Right.
You look confused. I want to help you with your confusion.
The video, it seems like he's choking her. How is that sexual misconduct? It's misconduct and it's abuse.
Oh.
But how is it
I guess I shouldn't
sexual?
have gone so hard on sexual misconduct. But he's definitely...
and it's
I wish that you
lady.
had said that right away
I'm
instead
sorry.
of looking confused for a long time.
I'm sorry. And the way you presented it, it almost sounded like it was Michael Keaton and not Ezra Miller. So I was really confused. But no, yeah.
I think Michael Keaton hates himself.
I don't know. Why would he want to do this?
Just because he needs money. Also, he won an Oscar sending up playing Batman, and now he's going back to Batman. Because that machine runs on rage, right?
You think so?
But he's never laid a hand on anybody, as far as I know. So he must just hate himself.
Yeah, but so I don't know. I think it'll be from what I got from the article that I read about it is, he's like a different, because Flash can time travel and it's flashpoints. It's a different timeline. Whatever.
Yeah. Some people think that he might be playing Thomas Wayne Batman.
Okay.
But that means that we've got to have Robert Pattinson Batman to come in or something, because
I don't understand.
Well, you're definitely making a meal out of this conversation. I'll tell you that much. I'm criticizing you.
I know you are, and I don't understand why you're criticizing me. Why would he be Thomas Wayne Batman, and Robert Pattinson would be
just figured that
Batman, Bruce Wayne? Why would he be his dad?
Because the whole point of the Flashpoint storyline is that Bruce Wayne dies, and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker. Thomas Wayne becomes, gritty gun shooting Batman. Mm-hmm. But there's a connection there because he gives Barry a letter to bring to his son. Like, it's the first and only time that Bruce has ever heard from his father post, a bunch of pearls on the ground.
I see what you're saying. So
in order to pay it off, you've got to also, just to make it a contrast, because people will go to the movie, they're going to have to see Robert Pattinson in some measure, because otherwise they'll just see Michael Keaton and go, is he Batman now? Is this what they're doing? I don't understand. Audiences are dumb.
Yeah.
And podcasters, not much smarter.
Whatever.
Here's a story. Host of Nerd Podcast, reads more news. I just wanted to talk about that. I do have more sexy stuff. It's not sexy. But the creative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going on a leave of absence amid an infidelity scandal.
Awesome.
This isn't like an abuse situation necessarily, but it's just like somebody who can't keep it in their pants.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Chris Avellone, who is a very famous video game writer, he wrote a game called Planescape Torment. Mm-hmm. And many other games as well. Fallout 2, Fallout New Vegas. People have come forward with sexual harassment and assault claims against him.
Okay. Very cool. And I'm being
sarcastic
as possible. No, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know what to say about it, though. Like, he's just another asshole.
Scott Alley is an editor for Dark Horse Comics. He has long been embattled by claims of things like this, and Dark Horse has finally let him go from the company.
Wow. If this has been going on for so long, why haven't they done anything until now?
Why is Brian Wood walking free?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? This does suck. Let's do some fun news, and then maybe we'll have to try to, build up our resistance here. Before we go back in, we gotta put the ablative armor back on, restore it before it gets scraped off again. So we'll talk fun stuff. We'll talk about the fact that Henry Cavill has no. I'm just kidding. There's no way I would read a Henry Cavill story right now.
Yeah,
There's no way.
Fun story. Yeah.
Hamilton is rated PG-13. Have you heard any songs from Hamilton?
Yes.
How is it PG-13?
I have no idea.
It's like a Wu-Tang Clan album is like, oh yeah, it's fine.
They're trying to get
it's for kids
because it's going to be. On
it is
Disney.
For the children. Just to be fair.
It is wow. It is going to be on Disney Plus. So how is? I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
That's weird.
I think this is the other side of the. We're trying to respect history and Black people's role in it, and so it's like when you they aired Saving Private Ryan. With all the gore in it or whatever, unedited on TV, which is like, you can just edit the gore out. Like, it's still, right. Seeing a guy's guts come out of him doesn't make me feel more patriotic.
Right. Exactly.
But that's what they did. So,
okay.
So anyway, yeah. So that's what they're going to do with the old Hamilton.
Okay.
PG-13.
All right.
Honestly, language is like, I don't know why language gets you an R. Do you know what I mean? Who cares? Kids say the worst things than that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know that YouTube's Cobra Kai show is moving to Netflix? That's not how it's supposed to happen.
Wow.
But it is.
That's a big move. Okay. All right. Must be going well. So
must be. I can't think of something that I want to watch less.
Like all the shows that we're in the middle of watching.
That's also something that like 30 years ago I would have killed to watch.
Right.
I mean, the show premise wouldn't work if,
Right.
You need the 30 years
ago.
but,
right.
But yeah, like if you told me there's a Karate Kid show,
yes,
about Cobra Kai,
yeah,
I would have killed. I would have swan kicked somebody in the face to get to watch that.
Yes.
So the Golden Globes have been postponed.
Okay.
They've been pushed back 2 months.
All right. Weren't the Oscars already postponed?
Yeah. A lot
of
this
makes sense.
The BAFTAs.
Yep.
Everything else.
Yep.
It's not great. Speaking of Netflix, and we will be probably a lot, they are going to produce a Chicken Run sequel.
Okay.
20 years. Oh, speaking of years, 20 years after the original came out.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
Did you ever seen Chicken Run?
Saw it in the theater.
Me too.
And
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I have.
I've never seen it again, and I don't think I've even thought about it again.
No, I went and saw it with a good friend of mine, and she dropped like a really big personal bombshell like right before the film started.
Oh no, I can't believe I activated. The trap card is out. I should have remembered. Now I have to hear this story again.
She's like, "Oh, I'm bulimic. Let's watch this movie." And I'm like, what? And like, I don't know that I don't remember if we actually, I think maybe we talked about it a little bit like after the film, so that's good, but like, don't do that to somebody.
Probably not. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that to somebody.
Just like, if you want to tell somebody, like actually tell them and have a conversation about it. I think it's good to tell people, but like, don't do that.
Maybe she just, she underestimated how many trailers there'd be. She was ready to get really into it.
No, I remember it being right
starting.
before the film started. Yeah, right. Anyways.
Did we talk about this? I can't remember. Did we talk about the death of Joel Schumacher on this show?
We have not.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yes, we should. Not fun news, but again.
Officer, you can come out now. Put the cuffs on her.
It was my fault.
We got her.
It was my fault this time.
Mission accomplished.
We just watched The Last Boys for co-videos because I'd never seen it before, and we just watched it a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So I killed Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, well,
it was my fault.
I wish I hadn't done that. But, he'll be missed.
Yeah.
An important voice, not only in cinema, but in the LGBTQ plus world.
Yes.
Somebody who, all right, the Batman and Robin sucks, but like, from what I understand, never heard anybody say anything bad about him. Nicest guy, incredible career trajectory. Like he, showed up in Hollywood to do hair. Like he was a hairdresser, I think on set.
Okay, sure.
And then, had ambitions to write and direct, and just pursued those, and then ended up, making many films. Not my favorite director, and I don't really love all his films. You were asking me about A Time to Kill the other day, and I was like, wow. A Time to Kill is, like Soul Man at least is trying to be a comedy. A Time to Kill is a movie that's about race that is totally serious, and it's as nearly as ridiculous as Soul Man.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd say maybe, but he kept attacking huge themes, in his films, Vietnam, school shooting, Columbine, penguins trying to freeze Gotham City. What killed the dinosaurs?
Right.
The Ice Age.
Kids,
just talked right over
it. Sorry, what did you say?
Doesn't matter.
Scientists or doctors or whatever killing themselves and then coming back to lives and having their souls haunt them or whatever.
What?
Flatliners?
Oh.
He did the original Flatliners?
Yeah, but it's not like a comedy, though.
No, it's not a comedy.
No,
it's not a comedy at all.
Why?
And vampires. Let's not forget vampires.
Yeah,
so,
and vampires too, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and just every one of those films just chock-a-block with gay sexual tension. And so we have him to thank for that.
Yep.
A lovely guy, a creative guy, who he will be missed.
Yes.
80, pretty good run.
Pretty good run.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't realize he was that old. Like, he's been around. He's been through it.
Yeah.
Well, since that was sad, I guess we should just keep going with the sad stuff, right?
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about, well, no, we got to save that that's for the next thing.
Okay.
This isn't really sad. The Dixie Chicks are changing their name to the Chicks.
Yes.
Which, maybe they were already called. I guess I wouldn't be super surprised. But there has to be a band called the Chicks, right? Like, you thought Lady A had a problem.
Yeah.
How are they going to get this trademark?
I don't know. I assume they already did it. At least I hope they're smarter about it than what we've heard Lady A was. So, probably a good move. I mean, they're country music stars, but they also happen to be pretty liberal minded. So, I think it's probably for the best. Honestly, moves like this.
Wow.
What?
Well, that's your opinion, I guess.
What?
I just was not a lot of razzle dazzle in that comment.
Sorry, they're not all razzle dazzle.
Maybe you could go from dazzle to frizzle. That's what Elizabeth Banks is doing, playing Mrs. Frizzle in the Magic School Bus live action movie.
Oh my goodness!
Here's a question for you. What happened
to Elizabeth Banks?
What happened to her?
I don't know. She had
what was it?
promising career.
And what was it? Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels.
She didn't direct. Did she direct that?
She directed it.
Oh, that she directed it. Okay, it was Charlie's Angels.
It was Charlie's Angels.
Never mind.
Yeah, we know.
She was just like, and look, I
she could come back.
I think that she's been funny in a couple of the films that I've seen that were comedies.
Yeah.
And drama. She was funny in those too. But I don't consider her to be like a super great actress with a lot of range. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
You don't have to agree with me. And so I thought it was exciting that she, was producing and she was moving up to like a new sort of level and right back down now. And Mrs. Frizzle, when you think about it, she was auditioning for that with Ellie, what's her butt from the Hunger Games, right?
Oh, yeah,
She's basically sort of already doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope she does more directing stuff. Sorry.
It's going to be scintillating.
Yeah, no, not really.
Oh, okay.
Move on. Sorry.
That's okay. So speaking of women who have really let us down.
Uh-oh.
Margot Robbie is going to appear in the new Pirates of the Caribbean film. Not connected to the old broke-ass, long-ass series. It's a totally new iteration of a female-focused Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean.
Boo!
She was supposed to be somebody who also was choosing and developing her own projects and projects for women.
Right.
And we get this. And you say to me, she's going to do this, then she's going to go off and do something personal. And I ain't seen that happen yet. They tried to sell everybody on the fact that Birds of Prey was this huge feminist masterpiece. And it wasn't. It was just a lame DC superhero movie. And
it wasn't very good. They didn't develop Harley Quinn.
She got thoughts on this. She got takes.
Further than... I feel like she's more developed in the cartoons than she was in that film, and the plot is all over the place. Them coming together as a team doesn't really
let's not relitigate
sense,
Birds of Prey. That's not why we're here.
No,
today.
I know, but it's not what they said it was,
right? And
that's fine. But maybe they were trying something at least. What are you going to do with Pirates of the Caribbean?
You're just going to do it all over again.
You're just going to be like a female Jack Sparrow, but like a different take. You know, you're going to be like a female crazy character. Like, what?
Well, I think that she has, a reputation for playing crazy characters at this point. That's kind of her thing now, right?
Yeah, that's fine, but just do something else. Who cares about Pirates of the Caribbean at this point? Like, I'm just so...
Studio heads who want money.
Okay, I'm gonna be... I know how you feel about Pirates, but I'm gonna...
Well, I know how you feel about Margot Robbie. This show began with a hit piece, an assassination attempt by you on Margot Robbie.
That's a little unfair.
I gotta say, over 7 years of broadcasting with you, I'm on your side now. I, as well, hate Margot Robbie.
I wouldn't say assassination attempt, but...
Do you know when somebody's complimenting you?
No.
I can tell. Speaking of films, they've pushed the release date of Tenet back.
Okay.
So that's not going to come out when it was going to. Based on that information, AMC has pushed its own reopening date back.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When are they reopening?
July 30th. Tenet was pushed back to August 12th, although it had tried to hold on to July as long as it could, shifting around a little bit. Mm-hmm. But with Mulan and Tenet not coming until after August 1st, AMC has just said, well, what's the point? Okay. That was going to be the thing that was going to keep us all alive and afloat, right? So they're just going to push back their reopening date.
Okay. All right. I mean, not great, but it makes sense. So I can understand why they would do that.
Yeah. Me too. I guess we're just going to be informative and we're not going to talk a lot about the stories. That's fine.
We probably a lot of should. Stories.
Well, but you don't have a lot of takes on them. That's kind of what we do.
I told you my opinion. It makes sense. Move on. Next one.
Tell us the bulimia story again.
Stop it.
So let's just maybe shut the news down then and just move on. I kind of wanted to talk about a video game that I've been playing recently. Okay. It's a RPG called Disco Elysium, and it's significant because it's getting a TV adaptation.
Oh, okay.
From the producer of Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly.
Like the film, the Sonic the Hedgehog film that just came out? Okay.
No, the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon from the 90s. Yeah,
I don't know.
The film, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But I don't think we have time for that.
Oh, no?
So I'll play the game a little more. Maybe we'll talk about it next week or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Guess how many 30 Rock episodes have blackface in
them? 1?
More.
5.
Less.
2.
No, 3.
3? Oh,
let's not keep going.
Okay.
And, now that I think about it, that show was on a while ago.
I mean, I guess.
Like they were already in decline before I met you.
Yeah.
And then it kind of picked back up. Like the last couple seasons are really good.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why I don't remember when Jenna posed as a black man to prove that white women have it tougher in society. I feel like I hazily remember her dressing up as Lynn Swan, a football player, for a Black Swan joke.
Right.
And I don't remember at all John Hamm being in blackface for the live episode from season 6.
Wow. No, I don't remember that at all either.
It was because they were doing... The whole point was that they were doing... Jack or somebody had a really bad idea for a show, and the show was like a reboot of Amos and Andy with John Hamm as either Amos or Andy. And all that... I can see that in my mind, but I don't know if that's because... I have 30 Rock vision
Or if you actually remember it.
Because it's like, yep, no, I know exactly how that bit would go. A lot of the Black Swan was probably just a cutaway, a quick cutaway. A lot of these are quick cutaways.
Yes.
It isn't like Soul Man, where you're trying to sell somebody on believing that this person is black for 90 minutes of a film.
Right.
But still, I mean, it's an incidence of blackface. Mm-hmm. And they are all over the place, more than you would think.
Yes, it's more prevalent.
Scrubs has black. Why does Scrubs have blackface?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Golden Girls has blackface. Why does the Golden Girls
bizarre to me? That's
have
even
blackface?
More bizarre to me than Scrubs, honestly. It doesn't make any sense.
That one, no. I think the Scrubs one is, I think somebody explained to me that JD and I don't know the characters' names. I don't watch Scrubs.
Yeah.
But the Zach Braff character and then the Donald Faison character pretend to be each other, and so Zach Braff has to the first dab of a makeup sponge. Don't you go? Why is this happening?
Yes.
No, none of these people did.
Yeah.
The Office did one where I think it was like, I think we figured this out the other day. Like Donald Trump is Michael Scott. It's just not funny.
Yeah, right.
There's no like wrap up at the end where it's like, well, I guess we figured it all out. And here's one more button as we go out.
Right.
Like he just says, because Michael Scott says some horrible things.
He does.
And it's understood that he's just inept and he wants to be an ally to everybody. Mm-hmm. But you just take that away and it's just, he's just a racist in a tie.
Yeah.
Suit and tie.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And apparently, I don't remember this either. I don't remember any of these. And that's, I think, really telling. This is like somebody was going to do blackface, but then they didn't do it. But you could see that they had the makeup on their neck or their collar or whatever.
Yes.
So I guess that counts.
Yeah.
And then Community's episode Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where Ken Jeong dresses up as a drow, a dark elf. And it's not a black character. It's a fantasy race. That's not what it is. But surely the black character on the show does...
One of the black characters on the show.
Does say, this isn't okay.
She was like, and we're just okay with this hate crime over here? Yeah.
So it's about, it's a lot of shows. It isn't just Soul Man. It's a lot of creators, white creators, obviously, who are trafficking on the negative feelings around blackface to kind of get away with doing blackface. And I'm not saying that that's bad. I think that it's usually very lazy. I don't think Soul Man is anything but lazy because they really went for it, except the jokes are lazy and the script's bad, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But we don't need this kind of stuff. And you know why we don't need it? Because it gets innocent things like Community's best episode pulled off the internet. Well, and I don't like it. I get why they did it.
Yeah.
And I want to participate in this, but it frustrates me. It would be this is where we have our unpopular opinions. D&D, in fact, Hasbro released a statement recently saying that D&D is going to work harder to eliminate racism in their fake world.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like elves and dwarves can't like each other anymore? Like, what are you talking about? I feel like over the past 30 years, they've done a very good job of taking monster races, and making them player races. And so you can play an orc who can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to be some bloodthirsty villain or something like that.
Well, one thing...
But apparently they need to go farther. And so does that mean no more Oriental Adventures books? Actually, they would never be called that now today.
No, they would go and change it. One thing I read is they are going to have... They're going to... In a hopes to become... They're going to try to hire more diverse writers.
That needs to happen anyway.
But they're also going to hire people to, whenever they're doing a reprinting, have sensitivity readers and go through things and make sure, is there any changes?
I love that we have to have that skill that you can develop, and it isn't just,
I know,
I'm a normal person in this society.
Yep, I know, right? But another thing that they're doing that, players will probably notice a little bit more, although it's not a huge part of most games, but a lot of games, not all of them, depending on the race of the character
your racial
that you
bonuses.
Pick, your racial bonuses, they're getting rid of those. So they're gonna figure that out.
I want dark vision.
Well, but like they don't really want you to have a bonus for any particular race.
Look,
so
this is a safe space.
Yeah.
Where we're talking on the internet to everybody in the world. Mm-hmm. This is a safe space. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that feel sort of Harrison Bergeron-y? Like literally?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do. Harrison Bergeron. We had to talk about this before. It's a Kurt Vonnegut short story. I had to explain it to you. You haven't read it still, but I explained it to you so well that you should be getting this right now.
Okay, I don't get it, though.
He's a character that lives in a world where everybody is made equal. And although Vonnegut was a gigantic, like, left person, I don't know why he wrote this, because it seems to make fun of, or, poke fun at, the leveling of the playing field. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't think he would take anybody's like wheelchair ramp away, but he's just saying, why do we want to make everybody mediocre? Which is like a real mediocre?
Mediocre.
Which is like a real Are the Donald take, isn't it? Can't you see that showing up on your racist uncle's Facebook page? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so in the world, graceful ballerinas have, sacks of rocks that they have to carry around to keep them from being graceful, and smart people have a little radio that blasts them with static every 7 seconds so they can't form thoughts and stuff like that. And Harrison Bergeron is a Messiah type character. Well, maybe it's because I'm going to ruin Harrison Bergeron for everybody right now. Maybe it's because it is a satire of a satire, but Harrison Bergeron is like this Messiah type character. Mm-hmm. Like, he's got gigantic muscles. He's the smartest man that ever lived. He can fly. I don't know. And so he comes in at the end of the story and he rips his bags of rocks off and he tears the glasses off that make him blind. He's got amazing piercing eyes, and all this stuff. And then the lady who's like the Surgeon General comes out and shoots him with a shotgun, and he dies.
Okay. I mean,
so I don't
know.
Kurt, I don't know what you're trying to go for, but to me, it seems like, why you're going to take racial bonuses away? That's part of the fun of playing a monster class, or playing you want stone sense or whatever dwarves have or whatever, and it has nothing to do with, like, I don't think of like, oh boy, I'm glad I'm not playing a dwarf or something like that when I'm playing.
No, I know.
It's just mechanics of the game, and you say it's a racist mechanic, but I do not agree. If this will heal this country, do it over my loudest objections, but it won't.
No,
I mean, like going in the wrong direction.
It's honestly, I see your point, and I see both points. Oh my goodness!
I wanted to mention before we go any farther that characters playing and this is mostly animation, but characters playing white characters playing
white
characters
actors
of color.
Yeah.
White actors playing characters of color is over. Mm-hmm. Alison Brie, of all people, regrets playing a Vietnamese American character for 5 years on BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
Everybody who's on the Cleveland show who's not black is out. Mm-hmm. The Simpsons have just said flatly, we're not having white people do, and it coincides with Hank Azaria, like, leaving the show, right? But,
right.
Is he leaving the show?
Is he?
He is the show.
I don't think he's leaving the show. I
anyway,
I've heard of that.
Yeah, why would he do that?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he's not doing a poo anymore, and so who knows? Big Mouth, Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
Is agreed to leave Big Mouth, at least as that character.
Right.
Bring her on as just somebody else.
Yeah.
We use more Jews on the show.
Sure.
So yeah, make that happen.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, this is happening everywhere. The tolerance for this is essentially over. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the show, but I feel like, except for these 30 Rock ones, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of blackface in shows or characters getting away with using the N-word in a show. And right before the Community thing, I was ready to just share this with the world. Let's do it. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. Mm-hmm. The one thing that Trump got right, kind of.
Wow.
Let's do it. Let's drag it out into the open. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. And then when they pulled that D&D Community episode, and Drow, by the way, get a +2 to their, or no. I don't know, man. Suddenly I was like, this list will die with me. I don't want anybody to know about this. Because, like I said at the beginning of the show, I feel like we are erasing the cultural history here.
Yeah.
I don't want to like watch it. I would encourage anybody to watch it. I don't ever want anybody to depict it going forward.
Right.
But this is only this movement is not considered. It is to assuage the guilt of the creators who made these things. Now Tina Fey just gets away with having done this.
Right.
We are ignoring the context of why it's being done in the case of the Ken Jeong thing.
Yeah, the community, because it's not the same thing.
It's not, and I get that it looks the same. And so it might as well be the same thing in a visual medium. I understand that, but if there's context, you take Gone with the Wind off of HBO Max, then you put it back on with a cultural studies professor telling you that, this is a great film, but it ignores that slavery was horrific and tries to tell you that it was all cool and stuff.
Right.
So know that before you watch it. Well, I hope that we can get... They renumbered the episodes on Netflix, so you'll never know that there was ever a D&D episode.
Yes.
I think they just edited it out of The Office or 30 Rock, but they just pulled that episode. Gone.
Yeah, I know.
And also, this is the streaming services covering their asses. They're trying to cover themselves from any kind of criticism, whether it's well thought out or no. So
no, you're absolutely right.
I'm anti-blackface, but I don't think that we can just sweep all this under the rug, because we're never going to learn anything. And that's why we watched the 1986 movie Soul Man, which should have been fired into the sun the second it left the projector.
Yeah, right. Or should have just never even been made in the first place.
But as we watch this terrible, terrible film, which could have been about, like, a litter of puppies who are a basketball team or something like that. It could have been about anything. But with this level of writing and acting...
Yeah.
It just was always going to fail because it's really bad. Speaking of The Office.
Incredibly bad.
Jan is Whitney. Do you know that?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. So maybe it's her. Wait a minute. Was she ever on Scrubs?
Whoa.
Where was she when they were making the Golden Girls?
Wow. Yeah, she's the X Factor here.
It's a movie. It was directed by Steve Miner, who's, he's directed a lot of horror movies, actually. And for some reason, and television shows. For some reason, this.
It's a horror movie in a way.
It's interesting to note.
Because it's horrible.
Well, it's interesting to note that he directed a lot of episodes of The Wonder Years, which was co-created by Carol Black, who wrote this film.
Oh, okay. All right.
So Carol Black is a writer and filmmaker. She co-created she co-created The Wonder Years, and I think Ellen's first sitcom, and she's white, and she went to UCLA.
Okay.
But she doesn't really do movies anymore. Now she is like a documentary director, and she's a proponent of like education. And so she directed a documentary film called Schooling the World, The White Man's Last Burden, which is like kind of problematic.
Okay.
Once again,
it sounds problematic.
Her jam hands are trying to clumsily help. When she made Soul Man, she thought she was helping.
Well,
and
she did not achieve that.
And here she is talking about like a ostensible positive phenomenon or initiative, which is educating people. She's an advocate for fighting against unschooling, which is basically just kids leaving school because for
whatever is going on in their lives, or that
the school's burned down by the militia or something like that, and also looking for ways to educate people with alternative methods. Not necessarily having a one-room schoolhouse if you can't do that. It sounds great, right?
Yeah.
But she calls it the white man's last burden, and like the white man's burden is the colloquial phrase about how it's the white man's job to uplift all the lower peoples. And it's just like,
that's just not
what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Why did she think that was
what happened to you?
Yeah.
How many times were you dropped on your head as a child? Stop this. Stop what you're doing.
Why are the people who are working with her okay with us too?
How many people worked on Soul Man, do you think?
I don't know, enough.
Yeah. What happens in Soul Man?
So
was he brought up on a side street? Did he learn to love before he learned to eat?
No.
Was he educated at Woodstock?
No, and in fact, The song has nothing to do with the film whatsoever.
No, they paid for it and they're going to use it though.
They're going to use it like 3 times. Yeah. Which is like, oh my
There's going to be an excruciating basketball scene where they just play the song front to back.
It might have been kind of funny if it had been like super pervasive and like just been like background like music and like.
And at one point he's just like he smashes a jukebox that's playing it.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of that song.
Right, but they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. Do
So Mark Watson is a privileged white college student, and him and his privileged white college friend Gordon both get into Harvard Law School. And they're in undergrad at UCLA. They're about to graduate. They're super excited. His parents are really well off, but his dad has decided, guess what? You're paying for law school all on your own. And he like freaks out and
he does that because his therapist tells him to.
Yes.
The dad from Alf plays the therapist.
Yes.
And they he goes to see the therapist and he's like, so, I mean, can you maybe tell my dad, like, that he should pay for it? And it turns out that the therapist has a son that he feels is a leech as well.
Yeah.
And that's the only valid criticism. Now, say valid, what by valid I mean, I'll accept it. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right necessarily.
Right.
But I'm willing to take it from a rich white person from LA.
Right.
Who's making a statement about rich white people from LA.
Right.
But it's never, the value is so effed up because Mark is, I guess he's been through 4 years of college, but like he is a product of privilege, being spoiled, and you paying for everything. And the dad takes it away because he's like, you're a little shit who doesn't appreciate stuff. It's like, well, how did he get that way?
Yeah, right. You taught him that.
Right. And the movie seems to like agree with the dad a little bit, but it's like, it's a lot more complicated than this. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to die on this hill?
Right. And he does a couple other things to try to get money. He tries to get a loan and he gets rejected.
Which, because he doesn't have any credit, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the son of a rich dad in a family. And spoiler alert, at the end of the film, they just get a loan.
Yeah, I know.
So this whole movie never had to happen at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think he gets the loan from his dad, but yeah, I know.
Right, but his dad could have just gone into a bank with him and just co-signed the loan.
Helped with him with that. Yeah, you're right. Good point.
Because his dad, I'm assuming, has credit. Capital. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, him and his best friend are looking at a list of scholarships, and they find one that meets his financial parameters of paying for school and also his living expenses. But in order to get it, he has to be a black law student in the LA area. And, of course, he's not black.
He's not black.
Huh?
We should make this clear. He's not black.
Yeah.
That's really going to set up this movie.
All right.
I guess if you didn't know that, he's not black.
All right. Anyways.
He is C. Thomas Howell. Mm-hmm. What was he in that anybody would know? He was the crane operator in The Amazing Spider-Man for some reason.
Yeah.
He was in a movie. Wasn't he in a movie with Aunt Becky and Mrs. John Travolta?
I have no idea.
It was
honestly.
a Cyrano type situation. I think he was the boy in that, right? So Aunt Becky likes a guy, but she's going to help Kelly. What's her name?
Get with him or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she's right. Not a good film.
I looked at his IMDb page. He's worked fairly consistently, but in nothing necessarily super recognizable besides this.
Yeah.
He has another friend who works for some like sun tanning thing or whatever.
No, he doesn't. There is a character at the beginning in one scene of the film.
Yeah.
That we established that he is like a chemistry major or whatever, and he's working on like suntan lotion
pills.
or
Yeah.
But later it's revealed that to be pills because we need this dumb MacGuffin that'll just get the whole movie going.
So he takes these pills.
I was done,
and
but that's okay.
Oh, what? Go ahead.
No, I just want this to be over, so let's just keep going.
Oh, okay, all right. So he takes more than the recommended dose, and that darkens his skin, and then he looks black. But then think something that they don't address.
He does
in the
not
film.
look black.
No, he doesn't. But for some reason, people think that he does in the movie. Something that they don't address at all is he is clearly wearing a wig as well, because his hair is not black. It's not curly.
They don't even bother to explain that.
No, they don't. They don't bother to explain it at all. Anyways, his friend thinks it's not a great idea, but he doesn't really spell out exactly why and all of the, 10 million reasons why you shouldn't do this. And this is a horrible idea, especially if you're going to be a law student. And just ethically speaking. And I mean, it's a bad idea for anybody, but it's just like, I don't know. But he's like, this is a bad idea. It's a great idea. Let's go to school. And then he meets a girl who he really likes named Sarah Walker, and she happens to be black. And
a single mom.
And a single mom, which is not great.
Which the movie tries to fix up by saying that she was married,
right.
to this guy, and it just didn't work out. And it's like, just do what you want to do, movie.
Right?
Just make her an unwed black teenage mom.
I know.
Come on.
I'm just not thrilled with it. And then he decides he wants to study criminal law because James Earl Jones is there, and he is the criminal law professor, even though before him
he's like, that guy was great in The Great White Hope.
I don't know. I don't know what his reasoning is other than like, I'm supposed to be black and he's a black professor. I just assumed that like Radon Chong was at the table or whatever. Like she was he knew that she was also there. Oh,
here's
really?
the thing about
I missed
Here's the thing about Mark. This is a bit of a poon hound.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. We're told.
Yeah, we are told. He has a kind of a hookup with Whitney, who is Jan from The Office.
Whitney is the daughter of Leslie Nielsen's character,
who's also in this film. They give nothing to do. I guess
he is a property owner because
he's their landlord. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he owns the building.
Yeah.
But it has no connection to Harvard that I can tell. He just owns buildings. He's a real estate guy in Boston. And so she dates Mark because, this is the one thing that I was kind of okay with as far as like a joke or as commentary goes. Because she was, she's just looking to date like non-white men.
Yes.
And there's a bad joke at the end where after she moves on from Mark, she's with like a Native American guy who...
Right.
I don't mean to cast aspersions, but I also don't want to look up whether that actor is actually Native American or not. If he is, great. But I've seen a lot of Italian guys.
Yep.
Just we're already darking an entire white man.
I know.
But so she's like sleeps with Mark, and her whole experience of their their relationship is, I'm dating a black guy.
Yeah.
But then they say the quiet part out loud, and all of her dialogue's literally like, it's so funny, like all these, all these stereotypes that you hear, because that's what they are. They're stereotypes. They're not all true. Mm-hmm. Okay, how do we subtly say that Mark has a normal-sized penis?
I know.
But she just is basically like penis size. It's like, okay, well, that's the level already.
Yeah,
movie.
right.
But I thought the character that was sort of like a, interracial relationship tourist, I thought that was like, okay, I felt like that could pass as something that you'd want to do. Not in this film. No. Do you have to finish? Let's just say that he has to work really hard, and part of the plot is that he has to work hard on this project, and so he teams up with Radon Chong, and they grow really close. He falls in love with her. Oh, I should mention that he finds out that, his friend's justification to him to do this plan was that they couldn't find, like, a student in LA, a black student in LA that wanted to go to Harvard. No, that's not true.
Well, that was Mark's justification.
No. Well, whatever. I don't give a shit. I just want to get through this, okay?
Okay, all right.
So don't stop me with stuff like that. It doesn't matter at all. You don't have any respect that you have to like hold up for this movie or like defend it in any way. If I said that the KKK comes in at the end, just go with it, all right? They don't, by the way.
No.
But anyway, So yeah, somehow there is no black student to fill this fourth slot that they're going to give away. These nobody wants to go to Harvard, I guess. That's black and is a law student. So he takes it. Yeah. So he takes it thinking, well, I haven't hurt anybody. Right. And then he turns out that Rae-Dawn Chong would have been up for it. She just applied like after he did. So now he's in a position where he not only is committing a gross like hate crime,
right?
In addition to defrauding Harvard University, he's not a good student either. Like you think, like if he was a whiz, this would be fine, but we never get any indication that he will ever be a good lawyer in any way.
No.
All this is going on. Then he falls in love with a woman who he is lying to and defrauding. He's taken her scholarship, so she has to work in a diner and somehow raise her kid at her grandparents' house or whatever. So he has defrauded and stolen from her. The only way that this movie can end is with him committing suicide, right? Or being executed by firing squad.
No.
Here's how it ends. Everybody finds out. He gets to stay in Harvard. He gets to continue his studies. And they fall in love and they're a couple now.
Yep. Everybody's okay with it.
How could that even... That is... The suspension of disbelief is just vibrating like a guitar string.
It makes me actually really mad. We were talking about this before. So like him and his friend, who you mentioned, is I can't remember what he's like what kind of law he's studying, but it's not.
They both wanted to be
law. corporate
yes. lawyers.
So he's not even a criminal lawyer.
That or senators,
right?
Like it is rubbed in our face in a way that would be, now that we know that this is how the world works. Some drunken asshole, whose dad paid for his college, goes and, gets a law degree, gets on a circuit court. He likes beer. He still likes beer. And now he's on the Supreme Court. Yeah. Now that we know that that's what this is, it's not funny. But this is at the height of the 80s. Mm-hmm. And not only is Ronald Reagan referenced several times throughout the film, Ron Reagan Jr., who has become a strong voice, on the left, in America now, hates his dad now, but he's also in this movie. Yeah. So that's just presented as like, well, that's just the way it is. It's kind of funny that they can just say that about their lives and it'll probably come true. It's not presented with any.
Not funny.
It's not. There's no tongues in any cheeks here. There's no irony.
No.
You are led to believe that they could just do that if they wanted to. And in fact, Mark is crazy to throw that life away because he wants to do this. Part of him staying in Harvard is that he's going to become a lawyer, like an ACLU lawyer or something like that. That's kind of basically what he promises to Darth Vader at the end.
Yes.
And Darth Vader says like, a lawyer has a lot of power, so you got to use that power well. Is there any evidence that he will?
I don't think that there is.
He lied to get here. You are talking to a liar, man.
I know. It just doesn't look good and it doesn't sit well with me. I'm mad because he came forward, but in such a lavish way too, even.
Lavish.
Well, maybe that's not the right word for it, but
well, it's planted
it's
very
extravagant.
Yeah, the first sort of false climax or false epiphany is like he decides like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I forget what sparks it off. Is it the hilarious set of mix-ups that happen when his Whitney and Rae-Dawn Chong and his parents are all in the apartment? I can't remember what it is, but the point is that he's going to go confess. So he goes to James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones, we get the whole thing where it's like, I need to talk to you about something very important. People defrauding. You got to hear this. And then it turns out, no, I want you to sit on like the student government thing that runs or adjudicates the judiciary hearings when they have problems like that.
Right.
We never see him sit on that. It's just dropped in so that at the very end, apparently you can call your own judiciary hearing.
Yeah, which is really weird. It doesn't make any
We're jumping
sense.
all around, but I'm going to go into my stuff for that. So he can call his own hearing and he doesn't have to state what the matter is. He doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be reviewed by anybody. So he gets everybody in the school, or at least in the law department, together in this room. Yeah. And his dumbass friend, who wants to be a corporate lawyer, not a trial lawyer.
Right.
He's not Perry Mason.
No.
Comes in and gives like this, impassioned Atticus Finch, yikes, speech for him.
I don't want to equate him
talking about how he's sorry for what he did, and the whole time, like, he's saying, like, but could you be judging by the color of his skin? And we're supposed to think that, like, you know, everybody thinks he's talking about a black man. Then there's the racist, like, students in the audience who are like, I bet he probably, like, stole all the chicken from the cafeteria or something like that, right? Then he comes in, turns out he's white, which is not a resolution to what the problem is here. It's just a reveal.
Yeah.
Like, so what did they weigh? Like, they didn't rule on anything.
We didn't see
He just
the rest
goes
of that
back
scene.
to his office.
Yes.
And he goes, seems okay to me. But, like, you called the hearing for a reason. Was there a result to the hearing? No.
No.
And there's a side character that knew Mark in college. Finally, over the course of the film, he's just there for Julie Louis-Dreyfus to hang on his arm. But he's there. He puts it all together, and he runs in to, like, give them the evidence, but Mark's already confessed. So that character has no reason to exist in this film.
But the thing even about that's so weird is, like, he was going to, like, a different school, so how does he even know this is happening right now? You know what I mean? Like, I guess. Know. That's kind of silly, I guess.
Can a special judiciary hearing result in an execution? Because that might have been an option.
Wow.
And the best part is, his douchey friend, who basically cheered him on the entire time, the whole argument is that Mark is a victim of his upbringing.
His parents. Yeah.
And of course, everybody thinks that he's killed somebody, and he's a victim of, like, being black and it being difficult. Mm. But instead, he's just a victim of privilege and not realizing that people have feelings, and you can't walk around painted like another race.
Yeah, it's like you are so okay,
and it's all healed at the end because throughout the entire movie, we had two guys. Characters don't have names, who are just telling racist jokes the whole movie. Oh my God! And Mark punches them with the force of Captain America at the end of the film.
And they break tables.
But here's my thing. Mm-hmm. They got to tell their jokes all throughout the movie. So the movie, you wrote those jokes.
Yeah.
And you didn't write them bad. I'm not saying they were great jokes, but it's not like you start to tell a joke and he gets cut off. You completed 5 or 6 racist jokes over the course of the film. So you kind of want to have your cake and also it's racist.
Right. Well, and then I don't like also how, like, he seems like he's not bothered by it at first and it slowly grates on him. Fine. But I would have liked to have seen him say, shut up. You can't say those jokes. Stop saying that. It's not funny. I would have liked to have him address it directly.
He's immediately violent.
Yeah.
I would have liked to. Why does he get to punch those guys? He's the biggest racist in the film. He should have his head cut off. Somebody should just start shooting, from the feet up.
I'm just
blow his toes off.
I'm so mad because, like, I feel like James Earl Jones should have been.
Oh, we'll talk about what the actors said about this film.
I know, but I feel like his character should have been way more upset about the situation than he was, and Mark,
especially because he's a hard ass the entire movie.
Right, that is all they give his character.
It's kind of one of those, like, I'm tough but fair situations.
Yes.
But at the end, he's literally like, you did a blackface. We all make mistakes.
I mean, like, and Mark is basically doling out his own punishment, which honestly I don't think is enough because
he sets his own punishment. I'll volunteer during my school year, and I'm like, what school year? What are you talking about?
Why are you still going to law school?
Imagine that this happened now. Well, it did. Her name's Rachel Dolezal. Like, this did happen.
I don't know that story.
Oh boy, I don't want to get into it. So just Google it, listeners. But you definitely do know the story.
Okay.
If you read it on, news.com that a student was discovered, he was pretending to be black at Harvard, that kid would not be going to Harvard anymore.
No, you would be gone. And also you wouldn't have a law career. This guy is going to go on.
He'll carry this with him forever.
To be a lawyer. I mean, how can you trust somebody?
Aren't you the guy who
super
did the blackface? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you did something really, really
He'll be like,
horrible.
hey, I'm here to help with the NAACP thing. They'll be like, we're good. We're fine. We got plenty of lawyers.
I mean, he did it really without thinking.
Like, you think James Gray was bad?
Who's James Gray?
Isn't it James Gray? Who's the guy that did the Million Little Pieces? The Oprah guy.
Oh, James Frey. Yeah.
Frey.
Okay, sorry.
James Gray's like a singer or something, isn't he?
Yeah. Right. I know. Yes. Yeah. Right. People were upset about that. And that guy. No, here's
the best part. That guy, James Frey,
he's a
millionaire. He, instead of just putting his name on stuff, wrote scripts under pseudonyms. He created a production sort of group where he would basically aspiring screenwriters would bring him their stuff. He would rewrite it basically and punch it up and then sell it as their group's stuff.
Right.
So he has a whole stable of people that work for him now, and he's doing better than ever. Mm-hmm. But that's what white privilege is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what it's a different thing, but I don't think what he did was right. I don't think it was handled necessarily all that well.
The viewpoint of this movie is totally invalid because, and like I said, this is let's talk right now about the best, and by the best I mean the worst scene in the film.
Oh, yep, I know what you're talking about.
And before we do, let's talk about what C. Thomas Howell said. He said, "Yep, I don't know, everybody was so uptight about it. We were trying to have some fun. We were trying to expose." What people think and get real, that whole thing. You just can't handle it.
Right. We were
Radon
Chung, who about racism.
I and I wish that she had a bigger career, but she was the same way. She was and she threw Spike Lee under the bus because Spike Lee was "This is an abomination. I'm Spike Lee, by the way," and she's honestly, I think Spike was kind of jealous. That the movie was so funny and that we did it so well. And Spike Lee we had Twitter back then, so at some point they interviewed him again, and he's like, I don't operate under jealousy. I'm Spike Lee, by the way. Do you know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah, I'm jealous of Soul Man.
Why would he be jealous of Soul
Man?
So I don't.
Maybe it was just a perfect constellation, an assemblage of completely stupid, self-absorbed actors and writer and director. They all just thought this was a great idea. So at one point in the movie, Mark, in his, black guise, goes to have dinner at Whitney's house.
Yes.
And it's the typical, famous, rich dinner. They're having, silver tureens of soup or whatever. Leslie Nielsen is the dad. Then the mom is also there. And there's a young Baron Trump figure.
Right.
Child.
Right. And watching TV at the dinner table.
Yeah. It's one of those little 3-inch
yes.
TVs. I had one of those.
Did you really?
Yeah. I don't know where we got it from. Garage sale or something, probably. Sure. And so they all, over the course of the dinner, see Mark through racist vision, through their eyes.
Yeah.
Because they all have assumptions, prejudices about black people. Mm-hmm. And they are the coldest, dumbest takes you can imagine. Not even, I guess you already have a scene where white people are, having racist visions of a fake black person. But,
I know.
Yeah, so the mom sees him as, some Mandingo type figure who's going to ravage her or whatever, and she wants it.
With a knife in his mouth.
Yes.
And just rips her clothes off.
And the kid, probably the most innocent, he just sees him as he's watching, I think he's watching Little Richard on the TV.
I think
but then he sees Mark as a prince type figure.
Yeah.
Which, wait a minute, that is the worst one.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't want to see C. Thomas Howell dressed as Prince. No. That's sacrilege.
Yeah, right.
And then Leslie Nielsen sees him in
I don't think it's the worst one.
A pimp outfit.
Yeah.
Eating watermelon, and his daughter's pregnant, and he's like, "Go get me something else, something racist, bitch."
He might have been asking for more watermelon.
No, he's like, "Go get my heroin syringe."
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Even worse.
Yep.
But yeah,
there's a scene in this movie
really
where Mark's eating a banana. Now, you told on yourself, movie. You told on yourself. Can you think of all the times you've seen a character of any race eat a banana in a film? Nobody eats bananas in films.
I guess I haven't really seen it a whole lot, no.
So, who was that? The actor's idea? It doesn't matter. The point is that you told on yourself. There's no way to square that. It isn't like he eats one and then somebody makes a joke about it and he's like, "Black people have it tough." There are scenes like that in this, although way fewer than you'd think. There's one scene where he's profiled by a cop and pulled over, and then he gets thrown in jail. And it's and there isn't a single black person in the jail in this racist town. It's just a bunch of Celtics fans who are mad because a team of N-words. The movie just gets away with saying the N-word.
Yep.
Only it doesn't get away with it because we're telling about him. We're telling on him right now. And then so he gets beat up in prison, and that's his oh, well, black people have it tough sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I can't stand injustice, I started to think about how to fix this film. Is there any way this film could work? And all I could think of was, what if Mark was an actual black person? What if this was a Damon Wayans film? Now, it eliminates the whole premise because, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's like he's a guy who's like working really hard and he gets this scholarship and he's like, I can't believe it. I'm going to get to go to Harvard. This is amazing. Then he gets to Harvard. This doesn't sound like a comedy. And he experiences everything that Mark went through, only he's an actual black person and he's seeing like this prejudice. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe he thought it'd be different because it was Harvard, but turns out that people are racist everywhere. Now, that actor would never have put on a pimp suit, so that you have to change a lot of these scenes. Yeah. But you could still see how you could have a thing where people see him, you know, through their own prejudices, lens or whatever. Maybe that would work. I don't know. Or here's another thing, and this is a totally different film. Mm-hmm. What if Mark can't get into Harvard, so he's got to go to another school, and he ends up at a traditionally black university? Oh. So let's say that he, you know, like Hillman, you know, like, or I mean, that's a fake one from the Cosby Show, but like, you know, Howard, or like a real historically black university. Yeah. It'd have to be fake because no black university would sign off on this. And so he goes to a all black school, and I don't have anything after that because what is he going to get profiled for being white? There also is no movie there, but you could have maybe a fun comedy, you know, that plays with race and doesn't do anything racist, where he has to sort of like, you know, assimilate into this world. Although that's called Save the Last Dance. I guess we already saw that, right? Because Julia Stiles wants to learn to funky dance. Yeah, right. And so she's got to get like a black boyfriend and hang out with a bunch of black people. Yeah, I guess. Answer: can't be fixed. No way to fix it. No. But we know he hates the Beach Boys now. Well, then he goes on to say, I don't know, I like some of their more funky stuff. I'm like, why? Well, first of all, the Beach Boys do not have any funky stuff. Why would he say Mike that? Love's blood type is clear. Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, then he does this thing too, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus is also in this, and she like that. He's like worried that it's not even good racism. No, that she's going to recognize him. So make your racism better. But instead he puts on Ray Charles shades and he does the Stevie Wonder Ray Charles thing, which, yes, we all did when we were 6 because we thought it was hilarious. And then we realized it's not funny. That's not funny for a lot of reasons. It's just not. And he does it in like several scenes. That becomes like his side character whenever he runs into these people. Yeah. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You're just you're being weird. You know what I mean? And there isn't even like a scene where here's me trying to fix the movie again. Cut the friend. Screw the friend. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why he's in this. Yeah. Except they're trying to. This is kind of like a bosom buddy situation, so maybe they're trying to sort of ape that. I don't know. You know, bosom buddies. Yes. Is that offensive? Some people might find it offensive. I don't know. I don't know. They were just trying to live. They couldn't find anywhere to live, and so they were just living in a women's house. Yeah. And so they dressed up like women. I'm sure there's a lot of not funny sexist jokes. Probably. Anyway, so it doesn't matter. So here's how we fix this part. Make it more interesting. Speaking of Damon Wayans, he's in that movie called like, is it Senseless or something? Where he also like is, I think he's in college and he's got to keep his grades up. He's got to do a good job because, you know, he wants to get through college. And also it's important because he's, you know, black. And Grima Wormtongue plays a scientist who is doing drug testing. And so Damon Wayans, I think it's Damon Wayans, needs money. So he goes to do this testing thing. And the test gives him, the drug that he gives him, like shuts down one of his senses, but it makes the other ones better or whatever. So it's him like kind of stumbling around. It's like a goofy, gross out type thing. Okay. Huh. So do something like that where the character, get rid of the friend character and instead merge him with the mad scientist student guy who's making these pills. Sure. So we have more, and it isn't just we mention this guy, and then Mark comes up with like in the next scene has a prescription bottle with pills in it. Right. Have him like be in an accident with his friend's bronzer formula or something like that. So he is inadvertently turned black, but then he decides, well, maybe I could take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out how to get into Harvard, but there is this scholarship that I saw before, but I just outright. And he's still doing bad, but it isn't like they are diabolical. Like they literally go through this book of scholarships and they're like hunting for ways that they can exploit the system. And once again, there is no commentary about white men jumping the line.
Taking advantage.
No.
Of the system that's in place.
There's no way to fix it. It's terrible.
No. And then also I have a problem.
America loves black people.
Oh my God. That line. What?
Yeah.
And then like Sarah Walker, like at the end, she still goes for this guy. Like, I mean, he keeps pushing, and maybe it was I don't know. He's like, well, how do you feel about interracial relationships? And she's being honest with him, and she's like, I've never really, been attracted to a white guy. But maybe,
they make that the crux of it.
Which is weird.
Not just her saying...
that you lied and you cheated and you stole this scholarship.
Yeah, and I just don't think that you have any integrity. And when she doesn't know this guy's history with the black, the racist joke-telling guys.
No.
But then these guys walk in and tell the racist joke in front of her kid, no less. And he lays them out. And he's like, all right, well, I gotta go. And then maybe she's like, well, he's passionate. Maybe he can change. No, it starts with him... before she knows, he in that wacky scene in the apartment, because he asks her, how do you feel about interracial relationships? Mm-hmm. That's his way in. Not like, how do you feel about a guy who lied to you and I'm really sorry and there's some things I need to tell you.
Right.
They bring that back for the end, and then her way to accept him is to be like, well, I guess I'm okay with it. That's just like terrible writing.
It's horrible. And it's like the issue isn't that it isn't that you're white. The issue is that,
it's
that
all
you
the horrible
lied
crimes
and
that you committed,
and all these horrible things that you did. That's the issue.
There's one joke. You can get one joke out of this. He goes to like an intramural basketball game, and then the two captains of the team are like fighting over having him on their team.
Because they assume...
And I know
Yeah.
Everything is already tainted by the fact that there is a man in a curly wig, in blackface. But that's kind of funny, right? But then we go through a 5-minute long scene, the length of the song Soul Man, where it's just like all these dumb physical bits where he shoots and it goes wide, and it's just, the movie thinks it's hilarious. Here's the mistake they made. There is one other black student in that game. Yeah. And he's pretty good.
Yeah. Right.
So you told on yourself again, because Mark's not good because he's white and also just uncoordinated. But then the other black student is sinking threes and he's dunking.
Yes,
so you're saying that black people are good at basketball because they're black.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And they work that guy hard. He doesn't even have any lines in the film.
No, he doesn't.
But they keep cutting back to him as like the observer, like the average black person observer. And then when Mark does his thing, he punches the guys at the end, they kind of show that guy, and that guy's like, yes. Like
I know. Like he's rooting for him.
He's signing off on it.
I know.
Who do you think you are, movie?
I know.
Carol Black, you're confused.
Yeah.
Get married so you can change your name.
Whoa.
Or just change it. That was maybe a little sexist. Yeah. Where do you get off?
I have no idea. And then I think part of what C. Thomas Howell said too is that this movie, it's innocent. It's just so innocent. It's not, though.
No.
Your character knows what you're doing is wrong and you do it anyway.
Yeah. We use this crime that is ridiculous, and everybody in the movie looks stupid because they can't see that this is like a white guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you're just bringing everybody down,
yes,
that they would fall for this, and yeah, it's pretty telling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not funny.
No, it's not funny.
No, and there's even the movie gets a little meta when Mark, for some reason, just begins disrupting class by trying to tell jokes. This is Harvard Law School.
He's also just such a prick.
He's a prick. And Darth Vader's like, Mr. Watson or whatever, if you're going to take up my time with jokes, please make them funny.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny.
And I'm like, yeah, but they're not going to get any better, though.
No, they're not. So... And I also wish they had developed James Earl Jones' character more, because he's just basically, I'm tough but fair
at all,
and a professor. of criminal law, and that's about it.
There's a part where, like, Mark gets rejected by Ray Don Chong.
Yeah.
And they play Black and Blue by Louis Armstrong, which is literally a song by a black man.
Yes.
Who is just bemoaning the fact that he is black. He's unhappy because he's black. He hates his blackness. He tells people, I'm white on the inside. Now, he doesn't mean that he's, loves Larry Bird or whatever. He's just saying, I'm like you. I'm human on the inside.
Right.
But yet, this is all anybody ever sees, and I can't wash it off, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's a funky song. It is a depressing song. And it has nothing to do with an old lady taking 2 steps away from him in an elevator because he's a fake black person.
No.
It's just, no. It is nauseatingly insulting.
It's very insulting. It should not be in this film.
I never want, what? This film shouldn't exist at
all.
Well,
no, this film should not exist.
Yeah, but I want everyone to see it. I don't think it should ever go away. Yeah. I think it should be shown like concentration camp footage.
Wow.
In schools. Okay.
Wow.
So you remember. Because if we take it away, this is a monument to the startling, tone-deaf ignorance of people not everybody, but people in Hollywood who can make something like this and think not only that they're getting away with something, but that they're helping.
Yeah.
I'm helping.
Yeah, I'm helping. I know, right?
I think it would be a crime to and I'm not saying it's better than, 12 Years a Slave or Selma or something like that. I'm just saying no. If you get rid of it because it's distasteful to you, you're taking a lesson away, and a very effective lesson for a lot of people about things in their own life that maybe they think are okay, or that they're this is fine what I'm doing here, or I'm helping. It would be such a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think that you can learn from this film, just like, this is why we don't do this. This is really tone deaf. And also, I mean, I think maybe what people should be taking away from, maybe what TV writers and producers and creators should be learning from this is we need to have more diversity in the writing room, for one.
Yeah.
More diversity behind the cameras as well as in front of them. So, we need more diverse artists, more diverse voices out there. And representation matters. Yeah, Carol. So yeah, and I don't know.
Bring it home.
I feel like they think that a lot of the people who worked on this movie think that they're really saying something about racism.
We said that.
Did I say that already?
We've said that. We've been saying that for a while.
All right. Yeah.
I don't want to silence you, but I don't want you to say the things we've already said.
Okay. All right. But
anything else to add?
Really achieve that. I think that's everything. Do you want to say anything else about this film?
No, I've just said that I just think that, I'm using this as a part of my bigger argument, which is I get that there are things that are distasteful and maybe just don't deserve to be seen. But if we hide all the bad stuff, you're just going to get more bad stuff eventually.
How are we supposed to learn from it?
Yeah. I'm not saying that you have to watch every 30 Rock episode that's got blackface in it, but I think it's a mistake to just en masse try to cover all this up.
And just pretend like it didn't happen. Or like with Netflix taking the Community episode off and renumbering as if it never existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's erasure.
It is.
But it's not like erasure of like, an endangered group, or a minority group.
No, it's not the same thing.
But I'm just saying, like, getting rid of the evidence of the crimes, I think makes us forget the depth of how much damage the crimes can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't want anybody to pay for this because they would, benefit Carol Black or whatever. Maybe somebody could make a documentary about the making of Soul Man.
Oh, and then, see, that could be interesting.
And interview, and then just have clips from it, but cut out all the useless, unfunny filler in the movie. hit the big things. We could have a whole section on the dinner scene.
Yes.
It's too late to ask Leslie Nielsen how he feels about it. And like I've said, I don't blame the actors at all. Like Radon Chong needs a part. C. Thomas Howell needs a part. Who, by the way, he's terrible. Like he's not. Sometimes you're stuck with bad material. Yeah. He's not making any of this work. He's not sympathetic. He's not charming. And you need to be all those things to make this work. Like, can you imagine like a Tom Hanks in this role, like doing this? I think that this is modeled.
Want to, but I think it would be better.
Yeah, I think this is modeled in a sort of Tom Hanksian kind of way. Like we're supposed to realize that this guy's not doing something that we would do or that he should do, but he's wacky and he's we're kind of on his side.
Yeah,
and
right.
C. Thomas Howell is not a good actor, and he cannot pull that off.
No, he can't. I'm a little surprised that James Earl Jones is in this movie.
Again, I don't blame the actors.
I don't blame him either, but he's such a great actor, and I think whenever you see him, he might not necessarily, I mean, I guess this is proof, but maybe he doesn't always pick like the best films, but I feel like if you have James Earl Jones in your film, that grants it some sort of gravitas,
Well, that's why they got him.
And
it's also, he was like one of 3 black people that like white audiences could handle back then.
Well, you're not wrong about that. There's definitely truth to that, unfortunately.
How can Tiffany Haddish remake this?
You want to get her canceled?
No. Well, yeah, I want to like rip up her SAG card.
Wow.
Because she's also not any good. But no, I'm just saying like, she remade What Women Want. And she made What Men Want. And as dumb and bad and tone deaf and worthless as What Women Want was,
right,
at least it was a story about a horrible racist, but that's not really dealt with in the actor's life isn't dealt with in the film. But it was a story about a guy who never listened to women and then realizes I should listen to women,
right? Because
they're having very cliched, dumb thoughts. Whereas What Men Want was just like all the men are idiots. And I'm not standing up for like depictions of men. I don't care. But it's not even like interesting. They're all just like boobs. Yeah, I like boobs and sex. These are my thoughts.
I know.
And
I know.
Like,
what is
just
the commentary
to get out of it? Yeah, there's no commentary to be made.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
Even though I've talked endlessly about how this movie should never disappear, we should always wear this stain. I don't think you have to see it. So, like, I'm not recommending you run out and see it.
No.
But I think if you are not sure how to feel about all this erasure that's happening, and it's a wave, it's a trend. This stuff might come back. I hate to think that I can never watch that Community episode again. So I don't know, maybe make him a white elf instead of a black elf. I don't know. But if you are not sure how to feel and you're looking for maybe a little clarity, or you want to see an example of how maybe keeping these horrible things around is important, I guess see it for that reason.
Right. It's I think you'll if you do decide to see it, you'll get something out of it. You might not like what you get out of it, but
you might get a tumor, a brain tumor from trying to reconcile it with the real world.
It'll be a memorable experience.
Oh my God, it'll be an experience you never forget.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show. Did we get canceled?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
No. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I don't think, I don't know. I don't think we said anything all that controversial. I think we've talked about it on the show before, in our support of Black Lives Matter and really any... Careful when you say any these days. But
yeah, you gotta be careful.
I'm talking about any group that's facing actual discrimination and oppression, and not people who can't get haircuts. They don't count. I don't know if you saw that crazy picture of that like insane couple who's pointing guns at the protesters. You've never seen anything.
What
do you do on the internet?
But like
what do you even do on the internet?
I might have seen it, but not with that context. Does he have like a huge machine gun and she has a tiny like?
Well, it's a handgun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, and it's perfect because they're standing in front of a house, and it's like all you see is like cement columns. Like they have a gigantic house. That's what that tells you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a nice neighborhood because these protesters were heading towards. They were going to protest in front of the mayor's house because she's an asshole. And the police had blocked the roads because the mayor doesn't want protesters protesting her assholishness. Mm-hmm. So they sort of cut through like a gated section or like a private drive, basically. And yeah, this couple flipped out, came out, were pointing assault rifles at the protesters who were doing nothing. They were literally just walking by. And this isn't like it's perfect. Like it's just, speaking of telling on yourself, like all the pictures of these idiots will circulate forever. Mm-hmm. Like this is the peak of white fragility. Yeah, this guy in a pink polo shirt in front of his gigantic, 6-bedroom house.
Yeah.
With columns is he's aiming an assault rifle at black protesters.
Yeah.
It's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank God nothing bad happened. But I was reading into it, and I'm always surprised and just amazed and really proud of how organized these protesters are. This isn't just willy-nilly. Like, they know what they're doing. And they knew that there was a couple in that neighborhood who were crazy and owned guns. They knew that.
Huh.
And in fact, before they took this march, to get to the mayor's house, they did tell people, like on Facebook or whatever, we're going to go through this one area. There's some crazy people with guns. So, I mean, if you're not cool with that, just stay home. Stay home. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so I don't think they were trying to provoke this, but they already knew like
this is a possibility,
and there could be danger, and they went anyway. Mm-hmm. So they're brave too.
Yeah. Right.
But can they play basketball? That's really the important question.
Wow. No.
Maybe I shouldn't watch this movie anymore. I'm just gonna watch it. Oh, that would be. Oh my God! The podcast, The Worst Idea of All Time.
Sounds familiar.
They started off watching Grown Ups 2. They decided to watch Grown Ups 2 once a week for like a year.
Oh, yeah.
So they watched it 52 times. Then they did Sex and the City 2.
Just want to torture themselves.
And then they did some other Sandler thing, I think. But they should watch Soul Man once a week.
Yeah.
For a year.
It's definitely up there for a contender for a worst film I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, you can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Just Enough Trope. Let us know what you think of the show and how you feel about this issue, because I bet a lot of people have differing opinions about it. Also find us on streaming services. Subscribe to the show wherever you are, iTunes, Stitcher, what have you, and leave us a rating and a review, because we would really appreciate that. We want to hear how you think we're doing, and also the computers do too. The computers that control the algorithms need to know we're doing a good job.
Yep.
So keep that up. Give us 5 bananas.
Whoa.
Because they're high in potassium, and they're really good for you. And it's just like, for me, that was...
But you know what else
that
was
weird
that
about
was
that?
It.
That was it for me. And that was very early on. I was done.
You know what else was strange?
Even the pimp scene is them at least trying to do what they say they're doing, which is communicate an idea. Because this is the white people seeing this. This is, and they're not looking at an actual black person, but this is the white people seeing it. This is their prejudice and racism.
Yeah.
But the main character just being like, yeah, I'm just having a banana. It's like, that's not innocent. So give us 5 stars. What are you going to say?
Well, like he's eating the banana, and then Gordon either takes it from him or he hands it to Gordon, and then Gordon has some too. And I'm just like, what is?
He dips it in his coffee.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So it was even weirder. I was like, who dips a
banana?
And they did have an insert
for that. So now that you pointed that out, now I'm thinking, okay, so it was written in the script, but they're trying to, dodge this racist thing.
Just don't have
by having the white guy eat it and also do something wacky with it. And it's like, no, I ain't buying it.
No,
that ain't it, Chief.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
All right, well, we've done enough damage, I think, for one night. So we'll be back next week. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.